Welcome to GoodHeart Connections, a podcast of Good Neighbors Canada, where we cover inspiring stories, share impactful insights, and connect hearts to make a better world. Join us as we meet extraordinary individuals, explore remarkable projects, and together, let's build a brighter future. Stay tuned for a dose of compassion and a world of good in every episode. For today's conversation, we met with student and young professional Devon Jarovi, the chair of Good Neighbors Canada Youth Advisory Committee, to learn more about his journey in the nonprofit sector and his advice for his fellow youth interested in activism and supporting human rights advocacies worldwide. Keep posted as the Youth Advisory Committee will relaunch their new cohort this fall. Welcome to the Good Hearts Connection podcast. Our guest for today is the Youth Advisory Committee Chair of Good Neighbors Canada. And he's also the Youth Policy Maker of Ontario Council for International Cooperation. And while doing that, he's also a student at Western University studying political science. Welcome, Devon, and thank you for sharing us your time today.
Well, thank you so much, Denny, and thank you very much for that warm introduction. I'm very happy to be here today.
So, first things first, can you share us about your journey? What inspired you to be part of the international development industry, and eventually how you become the Youth Advisory Committee Chair at Good Neighbors Canada?
For sure. Well, I think firstly, it starts with a passion, and I would say I'm passionate about what I refer to as the four P's. So, what is that? That's politics, public policy, philanthropy, and public affairs. I always knew that I wanted to make a tangible impact on global issues. So I thought that the best way to join that fight for change is to join the nonprofit sector, is to join the social impact sector. So I think at a young age, especially into high school, when conversations of what my future will look like, what I want it to be, when those conversations are taking place, I knew that I wanted to be able to join organizations, work for organizations that addressed global issues and to make a tangible impact. Essentially, why most people join nonprofits is because at the heart of themselves is that they want to make change for the better of other people. They're selfless, and that's what I at least strive to be. Um, so I go to school at Western University in London, Ontario. I'm pursuing a Bachelor of Arts in Political Science, and I am able to do a lot of political science analysis uh, that also ties in between public policy. And then I would say that's led me to a lot of external opportunities. My connection with Good Neighbors starts with the fact that last summer, so in the summer of 2022, I joined Good Neighbors as their public relations clerk. And I found myself deeply connected to their mission to desire, sorry, to the desire to further contribute and empower young voices in my community led me to become the chair of Youth Advisory Committee. So essentially, what happened was well, this is exactly what happened in February of this year. So February of 2023, after being dissatisfied with the lack of youth governance opportunities, I reached out to my former colleagues at Good Neighbors Canada with a proposal to establish a youth advisory committee. Essentially, they loved the proposal, and then in March of 2023, after consultations with Good Neighbors Canada's management, they shared the Youth Advisory Committee opportunity to their platforms and then went above and beyond with their support. And we were really thankful for that. A few months later, we held our first meeting, and I was very pleased that we had over 20 diverse members, all committed to making substantial social impacts in their communities and across the globe by supporting the mission of Good Neighbors Canada. And then a few weeks later, I was elected to serve as the chair of the Youth Advisory Committee. And that's essentially where we are right now. So I'm really excited because our next cohort or our next term for our YAC is going to commence on September 5th of this year. So application is going to open on September 5th. And why did we choose that day? Well, it's International Day of Charity. So there's a little nod to that.
Just a fun fact, I also studied political science back home, but we're more focused on international relations, like comparative politics, not on the public policy making part of political science. So, yeah, I would totally agree that being in the not for profit organization is like you making the difference.
Oh,
Yeah.
I, that's wonderful. I like. I would say that political science it dives into so many different aspects, but at the heart of it, why I always was passionate about public policy, I must say, is because if I wanted to make tangible change, you have to really target the policy because you could have really charismatic politicians and they can be very eloquent speakers, but really what's going to affect folks in the communities is what policies enacted. So I thought, okay, with my degree, it suits my interests, but I see it as a really great stepping stone into the careers I want to pursue, and that hopefully is in the social impact sector.
So, as someone who is deeply engaged in charity and community engagement, what do you believe are the key elements that makes this initiative successful?
I'd say charity and community engagements they thrive on two key elements. The first being empathy, and the second being collaboration. So, in my view, understanding the needs of the community we serve is essential, but also genuine empathy and compassion allows us to tailor our efforts to address these real challenges effectively. Also, collaboration amplifies the impact. You can't do it alone. You need a team, and it's really great to thrive as a community. When you bring together diverse perspectives, you'll get a lot of a variety of skill sets to address the most pressing issues. And that's why I'm really excited about our Youth Advisory Committee at Good Neighbors Canada, because we're expecting to have 11 enthusiastic members, all with their own lived experiences, coming together to for one joint mission, and that's to empower youth in Canada and globally, and also to promote the mission of Good Neighbors Canada.
Could you share an inspiring or heartwarming story from your involvement in a charitable project that you consider to have a significant social impact?
For sure, absolutely. So earlier this summer, I had the privilege and honor of working for New Haven Learning Center, and they are a charitable nonprofit and private school committed to providing excellent care for people with autism. So I was able to serve as their education policy consultant, and I mainly delved into policy analysis, particularly focusing on the Ontario education system, but also policies that helped uh, youth with autism internationally, and analyzing different strategies that worked and other strategies that didn't. On my second day of work at New Haven, I was invited to join their 25th anniversary gala, and it was fantastic. I had a lot of fun. I was able to meet in person many colleagues and supporters of the charity, and it was really touching. There was hundreds of guests. I was able to see firsthand uh, the fruits of their labor, essentially. And what does that mean? We were able to hear firsthand accounts of parents of the youth with autism that attend New Haven Learning Center. We were able to hear of New Haven students and hear about how New Haven's curriculum and care has helped them develop exceptional skills that could be applicable in the workforce, but also uh, being able to gain access to high quality education, which is super important. So hearing those stories firsthand was really touching and really inspiring, and seeing that it works, and it only amplifies um, uh, my ambition that hopefully one day there are plenty of resources that are accessible to persons with disabilities across the nation and obviously globally. Um, there should be the disparities uh, that persons with disabilities face, opposed to folks without disabilities. Um, is astronomical at times, and it's a disservice to humanity. So I'd love for everybody to have the equal right of, or have equal opportunities and high quality education, essentially, and high quality care, and to be treated with dignity. At the end of the day, everybody wants to be treated with respect and dignity, and that's what humans deserve.
At a very young age, you've been very involved and you've immersed yourself to these charitable initiatives. So, our listeners are passionate about making a difference, same as yours. So, but they might not know where to start. What advice would you offer to them who wants to get involved to charitable initiatives but aren't sure where to begin?
Okay, this is a fantastic question, and it's a question that I get a lot, especially from youth, from friends, from colleagues. It's, how do I join these organizations? How do I get involved? How do I make an impact? So I'm delighted to hopefully share some of my lived experience, and hopefully that I don't know, turns into some type of wisdom, and but offers some type of comfort and guidance. But I must say, so starting on the path of charitable involvement can feel both exciting and overwhelming, especially when there's countless causes to choose from. So my advice is to begin by introspecting and identifying what issues resonate with you the most. Think about your personal values, your experiences, and the changes you want to see in the world. And this will guide you towards causes that align with your passions and motivations. Now, once you've pinpointed that cause that resonates with you, and it may not just be one cause, by the way, it may be multiple. And I must add that most people that I've spoken to personally in the nonprofit sector uh, really want to address all pressing social issues. Speaking for myself, um, there's so many inequalities globally, and I want to address them all, but there's only one of me, and I have to. I can only really you can tailor your time to suit um, only a handful of causes. Prior to what I was mentioning, try to pinpoint a cause that really resonates with you, and take the time to research organizations working in those areas. You can look for a variety of nonprofits locally or nationally, and even internationally. Obviously, Good Neighbors International has many national affiliates. We're a part of Good Neighbors Canada. Their mission resonates with me, but maybe a different charity and nonprofit resonates with you, and to our listeners. So I would recommend reaching out to those organizations to express your interest and inquire about the volunteer opportunities and other ways to contribute. I must say that there's never going to be a lack of need for volunteers. Nonprofits exist because they're addressing issues that aren't being adequately addressed in the private sector, or at the government levels. Uh, Nonprofits thrive on enthusiastic volunteers, so they're always looking. There's a variety of different online resources that can help get you in touch with different nonprofits, and it will show volunteer postings. I'd recommend applying to those. But if you notice that maybe they don't have any volunteer listings, maybe there's a specific charity that you're super passionate about, that you really wanted to join, maybe there isn't any opportunities that you see available to the public. What I would recommend is reaching out to somebody in the management team, or actually any employee reaching out via email or maybe message them kindly on a social media platform and uh, telling them about your interest and your passion uh, for contributing to their nonprofit as a volunteer. My personal experience is that most people are kind and they'll really appreciate that. Like I mentioned, they really nonprofits thrive on ambitious leaders, um, and volunteers are exactly that. So they'll always be that. Um, Another valuable step is to leverage your existing skills and talents. I would say whether you have a a particular skill in maybe graphic design or social media engagement, event planning, heck, it might be even data analysis. Your skills can contribute to a nonprofit's operations. There's a lot of imposter syndrome. I face a lot of imposter syndrome when I join organizations. But again, everybody's unique. Everybody has their own talents. Everybody um, can bring something to contribute for the benefit of others. Uh, so find what your talent is. Maybe you already know, and that's even better. And then reach out, leverage your network. Volunteers are crucial, and they're what make uh, charitable charities work effectively. Dedicate a few hours a week. The tiniest contribution can make the biggest impact.
And when you volunteer for an organization, you hit two birds and one stone. You get a friend, and you also make a real difference in the world.
I
Yeah.
love that. Yeah, yeah, 100%. Yeah. Yeah.
So, partnership are indeed essential in creating meaningful change. So, how have collaborations contributed to the success of the projects in the organization that you worked or been working for?
Well, you're exactly right. Yeah, partnerships are at the heart for transformative change. So you need to collaborate with like-minded organizations and individuals to essentially magnify our collective impact. So through shared goals, resources, expertise, uh, we're able to create comprehensive solutions that address the most complex challenges effectively. My personal experience is actually uh, really stress the importance of collaboration. Uh, for instance, our youth advisory committee will host at minimum 8 virtual public events for this coming term. That will begin September of 2023 and end in April of 2024. Within that time, our committee will be contributing a lot of time, effort, and resources to make sure those events are phenomenal. But I don't think we can do it alone. And even if we can, I see that there's great benefits in partnering with other organizations that are like-minded, that want to contribute to our mission, and that maybe have a different skill set or something of value that can contribute to our organization, but also that favor can be reciprocal. I see a partnership is between two parties. The Sustainable Development Goal, uh, in particular, the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal number 17 deals with partnerships on the international scale. And really, it highlights the importance of partnerships to achieve international sustainable developments. As I mentioned, you can't do it alone. You need a team. Nonprofits are all addressing uh, different goals, but at the heart of most charities, their values are very, very similar. They're just wanting to help others who are in need and aren't getting the proper care that they deserve.
Yeah, speaking of sustainable development goals, GoodHeart Connections aims to highlight both local and global challenges. So, from your perspective, what are some of the most pressing social issue we should address in today's world?
There are so many, and if you have the privilege of speaking to many other charitable sector leaders, volunteers, really anybody in the nonprofit sector, they'll tell you that there isn't a shortage of pressing issues, pressing global challenges. There's too much, and that can be disheartening for sure. But it's our hope that keeps us going. And really, one philosophy that I try to live by is to plant seeds for trees that you'll never sit in the shade of. And what that means is, do the work that you'll maybe never see the fruits of your labor. I guess, and what does that mean? Most times, especially in the nonprofit sector, you'll be doing a lot of work to help others, but maybe you won't see those results when you'd want to. Maybe they're not immediate results. That's fine, because think about the long term. A lot of the work that my colleagues are doing, I won't see those results. I'll be long gone, and that's fine. It's been here before me. It's going to be here after me, essentially. But sure, off the top of my head, what are some of these most addressing issues? Well, climate change. There's significant uh, gender inequalities globally. Good Neighbors Canada focuses on a lot of the most pressing issues. One that's really touching to me is our Step for Water campaign, which helps rural communities in Zambia have access to clean and safe drinking water. Now, being born in Markham, Ontario, Canada, I've had such a privilege where not having access to clean drinking water is not a reality for me. And that comes at a point of privilege. There are thousands, millions of people across the world uh, without access to clean and safe drinking water is unbelievable, um, and so disheartening. And it's something that all communities across the globe should focus on and prioritize.
So, just for the information of our listeners, our Step for Water challenge goes from August 26th to September 30. So, if anyone wants to join, we will send you the link. And you can also always check our Instagram pages at Good Neighbors Canada. So, lastly, as we conclude our conversation, what message would you advise to our listeners to encourage them to take steps towards creating a more compassionate world?
Well, I urge every listener to recognize the power uh, to make a difference. Everybody has the power to change the world. I don't believe that it's particular to any specific individual. Really, I urge for collective collaboration. Change begins with a single step. It could be a compassionate gesture, a small act of kindness. So by collectively channeling our passions and skills, we can really create a ripple effect. You do you. I truly believe this. You're kind to one person, they'll pay it forward. Embrace your ability to inspire change. Be part of a movement towards a more compassionate and equitable world. I don't understand why anybody wouldn't want to live in a world that amplifies, that doesn't amplify compassion and equity. Why would you want to live in a world that doesn't respect human dignity, and that has atrocious uh, human rights violations and significant inequalities? It's not a world that I want to live in. It's not a world that I want future generations to be a part of at all. So that's why I encourage others to join the fight. Join nonprofits, join charities. It's essential. It's essential to recognize that creating a compassionate world, it doesn't require grand gestures. It's going to be the accumulation of countless small acts that ultimately make a profound impact. So I encourage each listener to explore how they can align their passions and talents with opportunities for positive change, whether it's going to be volunteering, advocating for a cause, or simply being a kind of presence in someone's life. Your contributions matter. And I'd like to say that together, we have the power to build a world where empathy, respect, and compassion are the guiding forces. So I really hope that if there's one thing that folks take from listening to today's podcast, is we really have to embark on this journey together, um, to create a future that we can all be proud of. So to that point, uh, yeah, thank you so much.
Yep, and for you to be part of a movement, join the Youth Advisory Committee, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, September 5th, applications open. And if you'd ever have any questions, feel free to contact me. I open the invitation to all of you.
That concludes our podcast. Thank you for listening to Good Heart Connections.